Hey, welcome everybody to the 40 Finance channel. My name's Jeff Beers. Today I'm going to share my thoughts on the Coinbase IPO, kind of do a bull case versus bear case, pros and cons approach to Coinbase. I am someone who has a kind of passive interest in Bitcoin investing. I do not own any Bitcoin directly. However, strategically, I have bought into PayPal, Square. I just did a video on the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust the other day. So I definitely have interest in Bitcoin and where it could go in the future. So this video on the Coinbase IPO is from the standpoint of a traditional stock market investor, what I see, what I really like about this company, and then some additional concerns I have as well. Reminder as always that my stock picks and projections, they're just my opinion for your entertainment. Please make sure you do your own research before investing in any stock. And of course, if you like stock market analysis like this, then please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you to everybody who's supported the channel so far. All right, so as of about noon today, the Coinbase stock still has not gone live. Expectation is that it should happen any moment, perhaps during the recording of this video. But there are some interesting things we do know about Coinbase from at least a income and balance sheet perspective. On the income side, last 12 months, they've made $1.27 billion in revenue. And I think one of the more impressive things that I see with Coinbase is this profit margin, currently calculated at 25%, operating margin of 42%. This is a company that is making money. So from an IPO standpoint, it's not really a hope and a dream kind of thing. This is a business that is operating and has, at least so far, has done very, very well. Now on the balance sheet side, relying on Yahoo's numbers anyway, they have $1 billion in cash and a debt load of $379 million. So this is a really unique place to be for an IPO, and it reminds me a little bit of DraftKings in the sense that they're coming into the market with minimal debt, and they have plenty of cash to work with and grow their operation. That is so important. And then on top of it, you have this revenue stream last year of $1.27 billion. Not a bad place to be. All right, now if you're not familiar with Coinbase's business model, they basically make all of their money off what they call transaction revenue. So similar to like a Visa or PayPal, the game here is volume. So every time somebody trades or makes a purchase of a cryptocurrency on the platform, Coinbase makes money on transaction revenue. And this can be a really good place to be, assuming that you can continue to drive incremental transaction volume. And in this case, with Coinbase in 2020, they made $1 billion in transaction revenue on top of another $44 million in subscription and services. Then they have an other revenue column. All of these numbers, as you can see, compared to 2019, up 130%, up 126, up 168, and the total there is up 139%. So 2020 was certainly a great year, and of course there's obvious reasons for that with the pandemic and all of the things going on. Trading in general, as we've seen with the stock market, went through the roof because folks didn't have a lot of other things to do. And we saw the same thing in cryptocurrency. Now, I'm not a cryptocurrency expert. I really just follow Bitcoin. So for me personally, I don't spend a lot of time on the Coinbase platform. But it doesn't take too long to figure out how their game is working. And what's impressive with Coinbase is they are said to own about 12% of all cryptocurrency trading and assets that are out there. It's obviously a huge market. So they have managed to corner 12% of the market. There is competition out there. But what's interesting is Coinbase is known for charging higher transaction fees than a lot of the competition, and yet they have continued to grow their user base. And I think a lot of that has to do with confidence, and brand identity. And that is something that's very intriguing to me when I look at Coinbase, is they have built this brand and trust system that people are overlooking to some degree the fee structure, because they feel like, hey, it's already a wacky world investing in cryptocurrency, not knowing, you don't really get to physically hold anything. I need to be with the company that I trust, and at least so far, Coinbase has provided that opportunity for many customers. All right, this is a snapshot of the Coinbase website, and the other thing that I like about this platform, or this play into the crypto space, is simply that they offer, some exposure to all of these coins. When you think about it from my perspective, right, I'm not interested personally in buying Uniswap for any particular reason. I don't know anything about it. It doesn't affect my day-to-day life. But if I were to invest in Coinbase and Uniswap had a great day, year, month, whatever, and you happen to see that the transaction volume went up significantly across any of these names or all of these names, then in that case, my Coinbase stock, or at least the revenue for Coinbase, would go up and present more opportunity from an investing standpoint. So when you think of exposure to the entire crypto market, these are all tradable assets. As you can see, this blue sticker here on each one. All of these assets can be traded on Coinbase. It looks like they have 55 tradable assets. So when you think about a stock that it is exposed to crypto across the board, not just Bitcoin and Ethereum, you would have to figure that honestly, like, Coinbase is one of the most diversified plays if you are interested in investing in crypto across the board. You also have that sort of growing exposure as other coins come online, right? And the world continues to change. Your single Coinbase stock, conceivably, as this list grows from 55 assets to, say, 100 or whatever happens in the future, then your single investment in Coinbase would kind of cover you. Now, another area that I could see Coinbase performing well over time is their concept of ecosystem partners. And while this world is kind of small for them right now, the concept that Coinbase could be sort of like the main developer hub for cryptocurrency, and that other businesses would find it easier to integrate with Coinbase as opposed to, starting their own crypto application. I see that as a very big opportunity for this company. But, some of the things they talk about in their prospectus on the ecosystem side is they are building applications and ideas for their partners, such as businesses who seek to build their own products and services or distribute those products and services through our platform. Examples include developers building new blockchain protocols, developers building applications that leverage blockchain protocols, creators of new tokens, merchant partners who are seeing business value and accepting these new forms of payment for their business, and organizations and financial institutions who use our Coinbase analytics to monitor blockchain transactions for a variety of use cases. So once again, this kind of goes back to the brand and the trust signals of Coinbase, and it's very easy to envision a bull case in this scenario where Coinbase is not only serving as the preferred marketplace for trading cryptocurrency, but if they're helping large businesses get into the game, businesses who are like, man, I don't want to figure out how to run this in my cart, or I'm an investment institution, I want to offer my clients an opportunity to invest in crypto, but I don't want to go through the headache. If Coinbase can spin this off to enterprise partners and make money on the back end, then that will go a long way to sort of balancing their current revenue streams, which are so heavy on the transaction side. It would be great over the next 3 to 5 years if Coinbase can increase the enterprise use case and lower some of the pressure on the transaction volume. All right, so that's kind of a list of what I see as the pros or the bull case for Coinbase, how it can sort of explode from here if all the conditions are right for them. Now let's talk about some of the negatives. Some of them are fairly obvious. And the first one is obviously more like a risk tolerance level. I would say that, at least for me, Coinbase is probably outside of my risk tolerance level. The stock price is coming in at least at $250. I mean, I guess there's a chance it could go down if there's a lack of interest, but most people are projecting that it lands in that 350 to 400 range by the end of trading on day one. Now, there's nothing wrong with it being $350, $400 with some of the numbers they've put up, but under no circumstances is considered a value stock or a cheap opportunity. If it does land in the 350 range, you're getting up to a $100 billion valuation, perhaps triple-digit price to sales type ratios. So there is this concept of you're getting in at a high point. Now, with any momentum stock, which is exactly where Coinbase will be, certainly in the first month or two, momentum stocks can explode while the news is hot, right? So it doesn't mean that getting in at 350 means you got in at the top, but I would just say that there's more risk to the downside at that high valuation, and what you're going to need to make money at the 350 level, certainly in the short term, you're going to need more momentum. You're going to need more news headlines. You're going to need more supporters to really drive that price up from there. So if you're playing momentum in short term at the 350 level, I think you have more risk to the downside. Now, on the long-term horizon, a lot remains to be seen. And I think the things that concern me on Coinbase right now is really just a competition. Now, on the competition front, I'm thinking more that the risk is in that sort of PayPal, Square, perhaps Visa game. All three of those stocks are ones that I own already. So that's part of the reason that I'm not going to buy into Coinbase. But from a competition standpoint, Coinbase has done a lot of good things with brand trust and security. So it may not be as big of a deal in the short term to think about competition, but eventually we will likely get to this cryptocurrency game, the old race to the bottom or race to zero, like we saw in online trading, right? And that's where transaction fees, the competition keeps cutting them. And eventually they land at free trading, and what started as, Robinhood free trading on the stock side could very well turn into something else on the crypto side. And that's when you get in a situation where Coinbase's number one revenue generating line, transaction revenue, starts to get a little scary if they have to cut their fees. Beyond that, I'd say the second big risk is really just cryptocurrency uncertainty. I think we all know what the risks are on the Bitcoin side. You have price fluctuation. There's not a whole lot in there that stops Bitcoin from going from $65,000 down to $30,000, in a heartbeat, basically. You have threats of regulation from different countries, not only the USA, but obviously China. Really any country could put their own regulations on cryptocurrencies and halt Coinbase operations in that geography. These are the kinds of things that can snowball very badly if you wanted to get into an extreme circumstance. Now, I do believe that cryptocurrencies are building a stronger foundation, certainly than where they were 2 years ago, and institutional interest will help prop that foundation up even stronger. So it'd be very unlikely, in my opinion, that USA would come out and have a far-reaching regulation that would hurt Bitcoin's price simply because there's too many businesses in the game already. But you just never really know. And what could happen if Bitcoin goes down or other cryptos go down is transaction revenues could change completely. So instead of having this current bull market of cryptos where everybody's buying all these crazy coins, what if that transaction volume, had a negative comp, which is quite fair to ask here in 2021, perhaps into 2022. If you don't have the interest level to drive the transactions, that's a killer for Coinbase. All right, so bottom line for me as a stock market investor, I feel pretty good with my PayPal, GBTC, Visa, Square. I feel like I have enough irons in the Bitcoin fire that if it were to take off and go to $1 million unexpectedly, I will inherit the gains. Now, where I do have a lapse in that strategy is if something like Ethereum or some of the other coins were to spike in their usage or become what we thought Bitcoin was going to become. If that happens, then I'm definitely at risk because almost all of my plays that I mentioned there are heavy on the Bitcoin side. All right, so what I would say to investors who ask me, am I interested in Coinbase as a stock? Certainly not at the IPO price. However, I can understand why people are buying into this one. I would just caution, don't let the price get out of control. Still get that value mindset. Maybe the day one of trading isn't the best time. Maybe you let things cool off, exactly what we saw in so many names, right? Snowflake, Unity Software. Take your pick on like so many IPOs that have come out. They always start hot, and 60 days later, typically, they start to float down a little bit. So maybe if you're interested, you watch the market for a little bit. You know that day one's going to be hot. Maybe wait for their first earnings report or thereabouts and see if you can get in at least at a discount. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed my take on the Coinbase stock. Let me know if you plan on buying this one. We'll see you on the next video.